Hey, all, this is Keith with the Common Sense Practical Prepper podcast, June 17th, 2025. Well, this post will have a bit of a political slant to it. So if you don't want to hear me rant a little bit about the current politics in the Middle East, then you can go ahead and turn this one off now. Otherwise, thanks for sticking with me on this. So it appears that the U.S. is going to get directly involved with airstrikes against Iran. Yesterday, a whole boatload of KC-135 Strato tankers, that is a aircraft used for mid-air refueling pattern after the Boeing 707 that's been in service for a long, long time. A bunch of those headed across the Atlantic towards Europe, towards the Middle East. And then late last night, yesterday afternoon, Trump said he had to leave the G7 summit in Canada early, right after they had some negotiations and had dinner. He had to head back to the White House. I guess he's getting the National Security Council, I think that's the name of it, the Security Council, together, and they're going to talk about what's going on. So it appears that we are going to launch some airstrikes against Iran. Now, as a caveat, I am not a pacifist, but then again, I'm not a warmonger either. I believe that we have enough stuff going on here at home that Israel is able to take care of the perceived threat or the actual threat in Iran with getting a nuclear weapon. I will say this. If you remember correctly, Iran has been weeks away from getting a nuclear weapon for the last 15 years. That's what you hear. It could happen at any time. They could have it now. They could have it next week, next month. We have heard that forever, okay? I have a whole different opinion on why we portray it that way, but that's not for this podcast. We have been in a proxy war against Russia through Ukraine for the last 3 years. No doubt about it. When you supply munitions, tons of money, and other material to the company or the country, to Ukraine that's directly fighting Russia, we are in a proxy war. This war would not be going on if we are not supplying or have not supplied Ukraine with all that stuff. You can make the argument there are other countries supplying Russia with weapons to fight Ukraine with our weapons, and that certainly may be the case. I don't think we should be in Ukraine either, helping Ukraine fight Russia, but again, a whole different podcast. The military industrial complex with the United States loves nothing better than to get into shooting wars, or sometimes non-shooting wars, with all these countries. It is very evident, it is rather obvious that there are certain alphabet agencies within the U.S. government that one of their responsibilities is regime changes, REGIME changes. I haven't had my coffee yet this morning. 1979, I believe one of the alphabet agencies played an instrumental role in getting the Shah of Iran installed. Same with Ukraine, 2014, Zelensky, who was a game show host before he became the leader of Ukraine, South America, Cuba. We could go on and on. JFK assassination. This alphabet agency is involved in all of this. They have their tentacles in all of these type of things and then more. I don't think that we need to strike Iran. We have enough stuff going on here. It is well documented and well known that there are thousands of terrorists that have crossed the southern border that are just hanging out here waiting to be activated. I think our efforts, our time and money needs to be focused on finding those people and removing them. Now, is there a chance that this could be just a big play, just a big ploy, just a big show of force with Trump to say, look around, you're about to get, bombed again? And we've bombed Iran how many times? I mean, missiles, cruise, almost every president has done that, with the exception of just a few. There's a threat, a perceived threat, throw a bunch of Tomahawks, a bunch of cruise missiles over there. Ooh, we struck this, we struck that. Now they won't be able to make, a nuclear weapon. They won't be able to enrich uranium for another 5, 10, 20 years. But we know that's not how it really works. Now, this could be just a big fake, but aren't a bunch of the Iranian military leaders already dead. I saw a report where a bunch of them jumped on a bunch of planes and flew to Russia for like asylum. That's a thing. So who is left? Okay, if we want another regime, why can't I say that word? Regime change in Iran, why don't we do what we did in 1979 that didn't work out too well for us? Why don't we go over there and just airdrop a bunch of Justin Bieber DVDs and a bunch of Blue Jeans and just call it a day and let the people take care of it? Because that's what normally happens. The people will rise up, and don't think that Alphabet Agency isn't sowing the seeds of freedom in that country. Same with Russia. But I'm getting off track here. Why don't we just handle it that way instead of putting our sailors and our airmen at risk launching strikes against Iran? Again, I think Israel bombed the last F-14 that Iran had a couple days ago. So it's not like they're flying around in some ancient fighters trying to take down modern Israeli fighters. Israel has complete air superiority over Iran. And it appears that they actually have Mossad agents actually on the ground pinpointing the exact location of some of these leaders. They launched a bomb into this guy's bedroom window, took out his apartment and probably a few others, took him out, and the building's still standing. So they're doing some precision bombing with these munitions. So there's obviously some folks on the inside helping them out, which is fine because that decreases civilians and other collateral damage. But I'll try to tie this into prepping if I can. Otherwise, it's just been me ranting about what's going on in the Middle East. I guess, there's still a chance that Iran, I guess if we bomb them, they're not going to have the ability of restricting marine navigation through the Strait of Hormuz. So if anything, just get your preps together. I don't know how this is going to end. I don't know if this is going to set off something else. I don't know if this is going to be the catalyst while we're busy over there for some of these sleeper cells and some of these terrorists to then be activated and attack whatever targets they're supposed to be. There's been talk that churches are on the list, universities, hospitals, soft targets. They're not necessarily going after military installations and that sort of thing, but universities are certainly soft targets, hospitals especially, and obviously a lot of churches and where people go to pray on Sunday. But that's just me. So again, thanks for hanging out for this little rant, but I think we're really doing the wrong thing. We really need to get our own house in order. And Israel, in my opinion, is doing what they think is necessary. And I don't think we need to get directly or even indirectly involved. Thanks.